Welcome back on the streets. And this is a contentious one. You can, for those of you who enjoy watching me, bitch slap the idiots, well, you can enjoy this one. As much as I do the streets, after a time you start getting a feel for the streets and when's a good time to be out, when the bad times to be out. Mardi Gras is probably my least favorite time to be on the streets of New Orleans. It's billed as the greatest free show on earth. And I just think because you put the word out there, free, you tend to collect the lowest common denominator, that being liberals. The streets are just inundated with the lowest IQ, drug-induced, alcohol-induced morons you can possibly want to be around. So in a short period of time, I get inundated with them, and that's why I don't spend much time in the streets out there during Mardi Gras. Well, they're cheap as hell, and you just have to put up too much aggravation. So that's where you guys come in. You have to make up the shortfall for me for being out there in the front streets and catching this kind of an abuse. So like it if you like it, care if you share, and of course subscribe, then resubscribe, because they do knock us off. They do battle us, don't they? So, and then of course, show some appreciation for me being out there by going and get one of my designs, and then you too could catch some abuse from liberals. Whippy, it's that fun. But it is a battle we're fighting, and it is a spiritual battle we're fighting in a material plane. So, give me the materials I need to keep this thing going, because it does take upkeep. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoy this. If you do, well, then you know what to do about it. So God bless you. Let's get on the streets and let's do this. How's he a traitor? Oh, no. Show me where that exists. Show me where that exists. Cohen even said it doesn't exist. No, you open up your big mouth. Get over here. Get over here. You open up your big mouth. Finish that conversation. I ask you a question. You can't answer it. So what do you think of my work?
See it. Bet you don't too. Inmate, huh?
Yeah, don't you think she belongs in jail?
No.
No? What does he would need to be in jail for?
Huh?
What does he need to be in jail for?
His mouth.
What, his what?
His mouth.
Well, what is his mouth? I mean, that's not an offense. What did he say that offends you?
Everything.
Give me one example.
One example?
That I don't like Trump. That's my business. Come on.
I mean, he's only increased black employment to its record level.
Yeah.
He's increased 400% small black businesses. He's empowered economic zones in the cities for black and minority areas.
Yeah.
What have you got against that?
None.
Right, so you guys, what are you doing politically? I mean, colleges are kind of liberal, aren't they? I mean,
Sure.
you guys aren't liberals, are you?
I am.
You are? How do you defend that?
What do you mean? In what terms?
Well, I've watched them move more and more to the left to the point where I don't even recognize them anymore. I mean, how do you defend things like the Green New Deal? How do you defend that?
You mean like renewable energy?
Well, so let me ask you, as an engineer, do you believe in man-made global warming?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Interesting. I wouldn't want to walk into anything he builds. All right, now let me ask you this. The big boogeyman is CO2, correct?
Well, CO monoxide.
Are you dumb?
CO2, am I correct?
Well, CO2, CO, and methane.
But they
all combine, yeah.
In other words, the carbon footprint
Yeah.
is on CO2. Am I correct? Am I right?
Yeah.
You have a problem with your mouth? So it's CO2. They put the carbon footprint on.
Yeah.
Correct. All right. So it's carbon. It's what we breathe out. It's a reciprocal gas. It goes in and out. In other words, it's recyclable. It goes into plants, comes out as oxygen. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. How much CO2 is in the air right now in the atmosphere?
CO2?
Yeah.
CO2? I don't know. What is it?
It's 0.04%. It's a trace element. It's less than half of 1%. It's been that way for several hundred years, so it hasn't risen or fallen much at all, okay? So why do they pick on CO2, and what would be the exact amount that needs to be in the air for it to be correct?
Well, it's not CO2 exactly. It's a combination of elements.
Then why don't they pick on those other elements? As I say,
I just told you. It's
no, they don't. They don't have a tax on any other gas.
Right now.
They have a carbon footprint. They tax CO2.
Methane has carbon in it. So that's what I'm telling you. Methane is a combination.
So we're supposed to do away with fossil fuels?
Yes.
And how do we produce food then?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, tractors run on fossil fuels. How are you going to run the
You don't
tractors?
need tractors with gas-based energy.
Again, how are you going to run the tractors?
Battery-powered vehicles.
Oh, battery powered. How do you make the batteries?
What do you mean how you make batteries?
Yeah, how do you make the batteries?
With machines.
Oh, and what are the machines run on?
Everything has a starting point, right? If you have to waste what we have of carbon and gasoline right now to make batteries, that's what we need to do right now.
Batteries. And how many batteries do you think it would take to run a tractor to do like a 10,000 acre farm?
Battery-wise, we can get more torque and more power into engines rather than with gas. Did you know that?
And planes. How are we going to put batteries in planes?
We put people on the moon. I'm sure we're capable of putting batteries on planes.
You think so?
Yeah.
On a cloudy day.
We'll do it, bro. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We got it down.
Yeah.
We got it down.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck with that.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
seriously, because you're going to have a hard time doing it.
To see it, but
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Have fun.
What do you do up there? What do you do in Wisconsin?
We're resident doctors.
Oh, terrific. How long you been doing that?
7 months.
7 months. Yeah, I figured you're still in
Yeah.
residency. Yeah. Well, good
Yeah.
luck with that. Congratulations on getting out of school
Oh,
and get back to
thanks.
work and all.
Thanks.
Hope you can pay off all those student loans.
I know, right? I was just trying to figure out if you were where you were on the political spectrum, but then I saw Democrat, Republican, and that you're just pissed.
Where are you on the political spectrum?
I'm on the left.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I find it kind of difficult. I mean, I used to be on the left. I grew up Northeastern, blue-collar, liberal. But as you see things changing over the time, more and more moves more and more radically to the left. I'm seeing them doing things now that are almost embarrassingly stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, things like the Green New Deal. How do you even comprehend that?
Yeah.
How do you defend that?
I don't think it's that stupid.
How, excuse me, but, doing away with fossil fuels? Do you really?
I mean, we need to.
Why?
Because we're ruining our earth.
I beg your pardon?
We're ruining our earth.
How?
I
I mean, you're an educated person. Can you explain that to me?
mean, the ocean's rising, weather patterns.
But they are?
Yeah.
Excuse me. So you actually believe, as an educated person, that man has the ability to affect the weather patterns on this earth?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And why? Because of CO2?
Yeah.
Okay, then let me ask you this question. As an educated person, what is the proper amount of CO2 we should have in the air?
I don't know.
What is the amount of CO2 we have in the air right now?
I don't know.
Then how in the hell can you make judgments that you're making right now saying what you're saying? And besides that, CO2 is a natural element of life. As a doctor, you know this, that we breathe it out and the plants breathe it in. It's a recyclable gas.
Yeah.
And it is a trace element. It only makes up 0.04% of the entire atmosphere, and it's been like that for hundreds of years. We haven't changed it at all.
Okay.
So why out of all of the
Well,
gases?
I've read a lot of.
Well, you've read, the wrong stuff.
Okay.
I'm educating you, and you're walking away from that education. So you're an educated idiot.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
And where do you guys stand politically? Huh?
Not here.
I beg pardon?
Not here.
Not here? What does that mean?
I believe in global warming.
You do?
Yes.
Can I ask you a few questions?
My answer is science, if you ask me.
Well, indeed. Let's talk science, because I helped start the Institute for Environmental Alternatives with Professor Laurent Cohn and lived for 3.5 years with scientists studying this very subject. So I have probably forgot more about this than most people know, so let's talk science. Okay?
I don't have.
No, well, you said science, so let's talk science. I'm going to ask you some elementary questions.
Okay.
Okay. The big boogeyman is CO2, am I correct? Too much CO2 in the air? That's what they say, we have a carbon footprint, am I correct?
Well, it's not just carbon footprint. It's.
But that's what they talk about. That's what they say we have to tax, the carbon. We have to reduce the amount of carbon we put in the air. Is that correct?
Not the only thing, but it's.
No, that is what they harp on. They say we have to reduce the amount of carbon in the air. That's why they say there's a carbon footprint. Am I correct?
We all have carbon footprint, but that's not the only thing with.
Yeah, but that's, again, what they tax. That's what they're taxing. That's what they say, that we got a carbon tax. We got a carbon footprint. Okay, I mean, that's what they don't talk about any of the other gases in the air. Now, let me ask you a very elementary question. How much CO2 is in the air at this current time?
I don't know. I know it's mostly nitrogen.
Did you get a degree?
How much CO2 is in the air at this? Okay, so.
Mostly nitrogen, a little bit of.
Well,
carbon.
indeed, but they don't tax the nitrogen. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about the water vapor, which makes up most of the atmosphere. They talk about the carbon. Again, I'm talking about the carbon.
You got pee? All right.
So, again,
You have a great afternoon.
well, I can understand you not wanting to talk about this because you have got an argument. I can see you walking away from it because you haven't got an argument. Hi there.
Hi. How are you?
Oh, I'm having a ball.
I'm sure.
Where are you from?
From Virginia.
Okay. Still in school?
Yeah. No.
No? What are you doing?
I work. I guess you're getting a lot of people who are opposed to Trump.
Not really. Mostly people that like him.
Yeah.
I think it's because of my work. I attract them.
Right.
The ones that don't like him, they don't want to have an argument, or I don't know. I don't find where they have any answers to anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where do you stand?
I don't really have a viewpoint on it, to be honest. I think he's just a face.
Pretty much. I mean, for the most part, the leader or the alleged leaders really don't lead anything, more or less.
Exactly.
The real powers are behind the scenes.
Absolutely. And they're always just going to pick a public face to, be the brunt of it all.
But
so.
he is a disruptive
Oh, absolutely.
He's very disruptive.
He's very disruptive. He's very confrontational.
And then that's why I think they're trying to get rid of him, because he's not in the mold. Mm-hmm. He's breaking the mold.
I think it's more of the fact, I think it's that, the whole political correctness. He has no filter whatsoever, and as the leader of our country, he should be a little bit more sensitive, or the face of our country.
Well, I think he's doing pretty good, considering that, he's negotiated a lot of trade deals that are helping.
People don't look at that, though. They don't look at that, though,
I think they do, and
You think?
plus, you know what's happening with
No,
like
I'm
North
saying as
Korea.
far as their standpoint, I think a lot of people just
Oh,
look
the
at
public?
fact that,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
of course, because they generally listen to the media,
Right.
which of course is just another branch of the propaganda networks,
Absolutely.
you know, that feed us bullshit.
Right.
You know, tell us what we're
Keep us
supposed to
blind.
think.
Right.
Yes, thank you.
agree.
But you know, thank you for being awake, at least to be able to look behind the scenes.
I think everybody has their own opinion, and we should all be respectful of such. You know, you want to yell at Trump for being not politically correct, but you want to yell at Trump supporters for what?
Well, thank
It's
you.
the same thing.
You see, this is what I'm out here to do, to create some dialogue,
Right.
to people that might have differences of opinion, or we maybe can come to find some
People
common
would rather
ground.
argue, though.
Well, I'm up for that too, but you know, but of course I would rather, you know, we come
Absolutely.
to some middle ground.
What's
you
your
know.
name?
Badass, Uncle Sam.
It's nice to meet you.
And you are?
Badass. I'm Lotus.
Lotus,
Lotus,
wonderful.
like the flower. It was nice
indeed,
meeting
it is
you.
wonderful.
Have a good
God bless
day.
you. And I'll bet you any amount of money, if you come over here and debate with me, you will lose. But you won't do it because all of you, collectively, haven't got the IQ of room temperature. Come on back, boys.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. And again, you see what I'm up against out there. They're all pretty much insufferable assholes, except for that one nice, sweet young lady named Lotus. Thought she was rather nice. Other than that, that's what I do. So help me out there. Go get something, will you? And help me in this battle. Till then, till the next time, God bless you all.